Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Thinking Out Loud podcast, the very first video episode. So I have with me two special guests on this particular episode. To my left I have Dr. Clifford, and to my right I have Dr. Chokosira. So we're going to be talking about our medical journey so far, how we've been able to navigate and how we're finding the journey so far, just sharing from our different perspective and point of view. So I hope you guys will actually enjoy this one because I'm excited for this one. A lot of opinions. A lot of opinions. We'll be talking behind the scenes, so I like that. Now we're in front of the camera. Alright, we all went to University of Debrecen, so we're currently in Budapest, Hungary, and we all schooled in the University of Debrecen. So the first question I'm going to ask you guys, has it always been medicine? Is it medicine that you've always wanted to study? I know it's very cliche, but it's very important. Who's going to go first?
Okay, let me go first because I wanted to study accounting. When I was 5 years old, I wanted to study accounting because I wanted to become the president of the World Bank Organization.
You still can.
What do you mean I still can?
Yeah. I mean, you just have to go back to school.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I need to, I don't know, have connections or something.
It's possible. Everything is possible. It's never too late.
But
you want change.
Change. Because I went to secondary school and I hated accounts. Yeah, and my mom asked me to help her with her job and with her store. And the part I hated the most was the end of month when I had to balance the books. I hated it with passion.
Okay.
So imagine
it was good.
Yeah.
You from that was actually a good exposure.
Yeah, it
was very good exposure. So then you decided to do medicine.
Yeah, my mom is a nurse, so I loved medicine. And since I decided to be an accountant,
you choose nursing, you chose medicine.
I guess for a guy, it just felt
okay. I get that stereotype as well.
Yeah.
And as for you?
Well, it depends at what stage. If you ask me at 5, I'll say doctor. Because my mom was a nurse. Okay, doctor. But at age 14, I wanted to be engineer.
What kind of engineering?
Mechanical.
The
plan was to do mechanical engineering, finish, and then do a 1-year management course. Then you now write ICANN and become an accountant.
You knew a lot at the age of 14.
No, I planned to be my father.
Okay.
Because when we finished work, my dad was like, you could do anything. Because I chose my courses in a way where I could do accounting, I could do economics, I could do anything, I could do whatever. So, yeah.
So your parents were very supportive of your craft. There was no pressure as well, you have to be a doctor. No. Do what you want and we'll support you.
My dad influenced me becoming a doctor eventually. Because then the option of, the scholarship came and I still put mechanical engineering. And he asked me, why are you putting mechanical engineering? I said, because I'm sure a lot of people will put medicine. Then he now asked me, are you scared of competition? And then I felt insulted because I felt like I am the competition.
It runs in the family.
That was why.
Oh, so you became a doctor just to show your dad that you could?
Not really to show my dad, but hello. And I was right. 12,000 people applied. In 3rd year medicine, I stopped. Don't
worry, I'm coming to that. As for me, I don't think I had any other thoughts, any other option. I wasn't too exposed to other careers. I knew for sure because my dad is an accountant. Or he read accountancy.
Accounting is running in the family.
As in right. Somehow.
I know. I had no interest in that. So my dad was like in the office kind of person. My mom, on the other hand, was a nurse.
Whoa.
There was always that influence. I don't know if that's what influenced me, but I think it's just that exposure. That was what I knew. I didn't know of any other thing. Even the engineering, I didn't see what engineering looked like for it to influence me. Even though my mom stopped being a nurse at some point, she actually did not enjoy the job, and I did not even think as to why she did. I should have. And she went into education. So my dad was also like, you have to study a professional course. Back in the days, that was the security. You have a job for sure if you do a professional course. I just did it. I felt like if you put me anywhere, I would have tried to make it work. I wouldn't say medicine was a passion. Was it a passion for you? You know what I say?
Benkasing.
You know what I say? Benkasing. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon at some point. Like I was influenced, but I didn't know the struggle you know, we didn't know what it meant to be.
We're 14, 15.
Yeah. Again, I always used to say on this channel that medicine always has this prestigious thing to it. So like, if you're a doctor, they just feel like you're very smart. Yeah. We've grown and we'll get to that as to whether we still like it or not. How was the medical experience for you in Debrecen? Did you ever feel like changing course at any point in time?
For the first 4 years, no. But when I got to my 4th year, I think I had those thoughts. I mean, when I got to 4th year and we started doing a lot more clinical stuff, and then I realized that the doctors I was seeing, the day-to-day things that they were doing was really boring. For me, I had the world view in mind. Even when I was thinking about accounting, I wanted to be the president of the World Bank Organization, and then my mom told me that, okay, you can be the president of WHO. Then, so I had world view. I always have world view in mind. And so being a doctor is very narrowing. You work with just one patient for a few minutes, and that's it. And then you don't even know if the patient lives or dies. And I got to that realization in my 4th year, and I realized that it wasn't really for me, but it was already too late. I can't just drop out in 4th year.
So you, how was the experience for you like?
Medical school was okay. It wasn't hard for me. It was the other things that were surrounding staying in school. That was what was hard for me, because I had financial problems. And so it was very difficult for my parents to continue. So I didn't want to see them like suffer so much. I decided I was going to drop out in 3rd year.
You decided to drop out in 3rd year?
Oh. I didn't tell anyone. When I want to make like important decisions like that, the only person I talk to is the Lord. I know what everybody will say. Some other people also,
don't worry, you'll be fine.
Yeah, some other people also have financial issues, but you don't know to the extent it's affecting my family. I believe in myself, and I believe that if I left, I went to, you know, do any other thing that was probably cheaper, I'll find my way. So I slept on it and I packed my bags. So the money they sent me for my ticket, for my school fees, then I was going to use part of it to book flights. I was going to go to List Ferry Head.
That's the airport.
I was going to go to the airport and book, just enter the next available flight.
To Nigeria.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's very bold.
I was going to do it, and then when I go home, I'll be like, hello.
Wow.
And then they'll be like, what are you doing here? I'll be like, yeah, so we're gonna start from scratch. But I'm not scared of starting from scratch. At that point, I was like, okay, this thing is taking a toll on me, on everybody.
And it was affecting your studies as well.
But do you think you love medicine in terms of the information, the knowledge? Medicine as, not the practice, but just medicine as a study, as a science?
I think it's very
interesting. I love it.
I
think that's what kept me going. And then you even being able to help other people and seeing that maybe something that you put into practice and it actually works. It's like, that is amazing. So, but do you think that it would have been better off, like studying medicine would have been better off somewhere else? Because I'm trying to also kind of compare Hungary to like studying in the UK or in the US.
For me, I feel Hungary is the perfect Goldilocks. It's not too difficult, it's not too easy. Because if you go eastward, it's going to be too easy and you won't really learn a lot. And if you go westward, it becomes way too difficult and there's too much competition and there's a lot of things going on.
That's an interesting.
Very interesting perspective.
In Hungary, it's just perfect.
The middle.
Yeah, just middle. It's hard enough to keep you challenged, but it's not too hard to break your back, you know.
To break you.
Because
it's on my people's back. But it cannot break you.
There are a lot of people that dropped out. So the problem was like when you go to, it's easier, but then is it recognized? So that's always the main thing. Right? When you say eastward, which country are you referring to?
I mean
Romania.
So when you go to those places, the problem is always when you finish, is it going to be recognized? Are you going to have a hard time? Figuring exactly. So that's why that was never an option. Is it that you are going to the harder parts? You know, and some people even left from Debrecen to Budapest. I don't know if it was harder or if it was easier for them, but I know that they always still said it was tough. A lot of in Szeged, especially Szeged, it was tough.
Medicine is always tough.
It's always tough
Even in
everywhere.
Nigeria, I did a semester of medicine in Nigeria, and it's really tough. in Nigeria also.
The cramming is too much.
Yeah.
So
And a lot more people fail in Nigeria, a lot more than in ever say. I mean fail, I mean kicked out of the university completely. If you fail 1 year, you get kicked out of the university. Like you have to go out of medical school completely and you have to go to biochemistry or
That's
something.
why they praise God when they graduate.
Oh my God.
You can't repeat a year, there's nothing like that.
Why do you think it's hard? Is it the system or is just the way they teach? Like I want to focus on the method of teaching. Like in Hungary now, for as long as I know, I feel like I taught myself.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like I taught myself, but then I also feel like maybe if I had put in a little bit more effort in some certain aspects, maybe it would have been easier. Sometimes you zone out in the lecture. In Nigeria, is it just cramming? Because in that aspect, it trains you.
You get the knowledge anyway.
Yes,
you're not being led.
Yes. You're not being led. You are just vomiting the book back, which you can always go back to at any point in time. You studied in Nigeria, but you didn't study medicine in Nigeria. Why are you guys laughing?
I'm a tutor right now, so I teach first year students. And first year is very hard for them, at least in Hungary, because of the expectations. So, for example, when you go to medical chemistry oral exam, they ask you, define hydrogen bond, and you don't specifically say that hydrogen bond is between a hydrogen and a lone pair of electron on the oxygen or nitrogen or fluorine. If you don't specify it, they can fail you right there on the spot.
In Hungary.
No matter what else you have said throughout the entire exam. So some of the expectations from the lecturers are very high and sometimes unrealistic.
And it's not well communicated.
Exactly.
Language barrier.
What's the contrast between this you said and in Nigeria?
Well, in Nigeria, you don't have oral exams like that. I mean, you do, but I don't think the expectations are as strict as in Hungary. But they don't give you a lot of opportunities to repeat. For example, in Hungary, you can write an exam 6 times. In Nigeria, it's not like that. At most, if you fail your exam, you have 1 more chance. And then if you fail it, you are kicked out.
Yeah, so but what's the learning process?
In Nigeria, we don't have a lot of practice. We do have some, but it's not as much as in India. So, for example, in Nigeria, dermatology is 5 weeks. While here in Hungary is 15 weeks. When you're doing your 15 weeks of practice in dermatology, you're having 15 weeks of hospital practices. So you have a lot of clinical practice, and you can choose to do research with the department if you like. But in Nigeria, it's a lot theoretical.
But as a doctor, what do you need more? The
practice.
Practice.
That's true.
Because everybody is different, so you can't always have that textbook knowledge and apply it to everyone. So sometimes you have to go the extra mile of understanding a patient's case. They will vary because they're different human beings, and in different situations, you might need different kind of treatment protocol or whatever.
I was in 3rd year that time. The summer practice, I did it in Nigeria, 3 months. They asked us to measure blood pressure. They couldn't, I could.
The doctors could not measure blood pressure?
Yeah.
Wow.
Then he now asked me to state the parts of the blood pressure.
Yeah.
That like this sphygmomanometer, the parts of it. What is this?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was. It was like, this is the cough.
Yeah.
The Nigerian doctors knew it.
Yeah.
They're like, cough, mercury, this one, that one. And me, I was like,
how important is
that? So the focus is like,
you're right.
Clifford said earlier he's a tutor, that is, he teaches medical students, right?
Yes.
Which I feel like is very, very brave of him.
Because that's fresh knowledge.
Honestly, like you're always gonna know what do you teach? Which courses?
I teach mostly 1st year medical subjects.
So medical chemistry.
So medical chemistry, biophysics, cell biology, genetics.
Dr. Chukosira. Okay, please tell us what you're doing now. First of all, you are still an anesthesiologist.
In the process of changing.
Sarah is very, what's the English word? All round.
Yes, she's very all round.
Very all round.
What way?
Like you can do anything.
Yeah.
Medical
engineering, medicine,
accounting.
And now even the specialty aspect like anesthesiology, and now you're changing to a GP.
Yeah.
How's that process been like?
Hell. First of all, the bureaucracy is driving me crazy.
I'm trying to focus on if it's important to do residency. Like if the next phase of,
take your time. This is your working time. Take your time.
Yes, I'm very much in support of that.
Take your time.
There's this pressure, unspoken pressure
It's very much spoken though.
I don't think it's so much spoken because nobody says
my parents are calling me.
Well, okay. I'm even saying like
but the one from
within your within and then within your peers. Like when you see that your friends are they're moving on.
Yes.
You know, before we finish, there are some people that are greeting USMLE, so they already knew where they were going. There are people that knew that okay, it was UK that they were going to. There are people knew that it was Nigeria they were going to.
Medical students are so competitive.
Yes,
it's annoying.
Yeah,
They need to calm down.
Oh my god,
They need to
it's almost like when they start asking you, so what are you doing after? Where are you going after?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, they calm.
I want to pass first.
I want to pass. That's my
exam.
focus. Oh my god, like that is my focus. Yeah. I want to pass. Let me get through this stage. Even studying a different language as well. When you get to like fourth year, everyone is doing something else.
Yeah.
Like when they do all those seminars, but I feel like they don't really give enough realistic information. They give logical information.
I think it's with failures. They don't speak of their own.
Yes, everything that anyone says is start early to plan, which I totally agree with. But they don't also focus on the part where like, what if I don't know what to do? How do I plan?
Yeah,
it's
not personal.
Yeah, it's not personalized. When they did it in NCC once, they said sometimes you might be forced to learn Hungarian to stay back in Hungary. And at that point, we're like, God forbid. So nobody even took Hungarian serious. We living it now. Living it now. Honestly, Hungary is definitely an option. A strong option. In fact, an easy option. What was it like for you after medical school?
Well, for me, because I was much younger, I'm still young.
Of course.
There was a lot of personal expectation. There was no option. I was not only focused on specialization, I was focused on in what I wanted to specialize. So I was like, is anesthesia or nothing? Because when you graduate, you can accept job offers for psychiatry or other specializations. Usually, people just take it and they say, okay, just get your leg into the system. Me, I wasn't told. I can wait. You know, depending on how much money I have, which was why I started here. They gave me what I wanted. And there was just so much pressure from myself. It was unnecessary.
But maybe that pressure is what made you do the things that you did. Because I can say that you had some form of experience. She did psychiatry at some point. Ideally, not everybody can do that. You also want stability at some point. But that also kind of gave her an idea of what she would like to focus on, which is what the internship year is supposed to be. That's what the 6 years is supposed to be for. But I don't know why it just never used to give us that clarity.
I think we're just too focused. We're too scared about what's next. So
I don't even think there is a way we can make it better for people coming up. Like, you just have to go through it.
Yeah, it's bound to happen.
You have to go through your own pressure. Start whatever specialization. But I think the most important thing is don't be scared to change. Once you know different, do different. The reason why I stayed that long for anesthesia is because I can't give up what I waited for. But I actually should have just left it earlier. I left it early, but earlier. So which was why when I now went into psychiatry, it was quicker. Too much. Now I realize you can change.
You can change your time to actually figure out. I think the only issue is like the money aspect. You know, once your parents have finished paying your fees, you're left alone. What do you do?
For example, in my case, I'm not practicing.
Exactly, I was going to go to
But I think I had an easier time because I started tutoring before I graduated, long before I graduated. So even when I graduated, nothing changed.
So you had income?
Yes, I had income. I was already sustaining myself before I graduated.
Is this the pressure?
Yes.
Yeah, there's also the aspect of like if you're in Hungary, there's the aspect of work permits or permits.
No,
I had not just income, but I also had a business. And even while I was not yet graduated, my resident permit was not based on my student activity.
It was
based on my work.
See, that's why we need information. People might have that idea, but they don't know what to do. Which brings me to your passion, because it turns out that you actually enjoy teaching. For you to have taught that long.
Teaching. I've been teaching for more than 7 years now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You're going to do a PhD.
Are you training others as well? Maybe you should actually start training.
You should think about it.
No. I love teaching because it's very personal and it's very gratifying. I get to see the effect immediately. I teach someone and they pass their SCT and they can move on to the next year. And I feel so happy that I'm making them feel better about themselves, making them feel smart. Even if I'm not going to practice immediately, I'm creating doctors that will eventually practice.
that is very motivating.
Yeah.
That's very, very
That's
motivating.
why.
So since you realized that you enjoyed tutoring,
Yeah.
why did you decide not to practice?
Well, I will still practice eventually. So after that long teaching, I realized that it's very much my safe space. I'm very comfortable where I am. I get feedback from my clients, that's what I call my students, and I try to improve things, and I always make sure that my next year is better than my last. I know I'm very comfortable where I am. It's my passion, I love it, but
And
I
there's
know
no
that
pressure,
yes, there's no
just
pressure.
enjoy it.
But also the growth is not being forced, it's just myself and it's slow. I would recommend people to do what they love, but at the same time I would recommend them to sometimes don't be afraid to do what you don't love. For example, I don't like practicing medicine, I will admit. Please, if someone is going to hire me, don't see this video. But I probably would enjoy practicing, but I know that that's the next step that I have to do, because number one, I need to have actual practice in order to go back and help my students. Because now when they ask me questions, I tell them based on the things I've learned in 5th year, 6th year and my practices, but not what I've actually done with patients. So I know that there is a limit to how I can help my students.
That's to say that you are actually trying to still improve your hobby.
Yes,
Improving your passion.
by not doing my passion. So by leaving my passion and by doing things I don't like, I can still go back and improve my life. You can still do medicine and you can still work in something that you don't like, as long as there's a goal behind it.
Yes, there's an end goal.
Exactly. It's the why behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's fine if the why is money.
Yeah.
It's completely
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, yeah,
if
definitely.
you're working just for the paycheck.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
enjoy your
Yes.
life.
Enjoy.
Exactly. It's 100%
It's
fine.
okay.
Yeah, but you need to know the why.
Yes.
In medicine.
But
you
Dr.
must.
Sarah, you are also taking on a very
Challenging.
yeah, you are also taking on a very interesting, challenging, different path, which is computer programming. Guys, look at me. We've gone from mechanical engineering to accounting to medicine. Now we're in programming. I've not even talked about the entrepreneurship side.
Wow.
But let's stick to the I forgot that
Well, again, it's the why. I'm very passionate about education in Nigeria, and the way I want it to be done, I want it to be accessible to everyone. And the way I have it envisioned, it needs me to know a lot about actual programming. There are different aspects of software engineering. You know, we could do data analysts and stuff like that and be making money, but I want the whole knowledge. So I'm taking my time with it. What I'm doing is just because of my passion for education.
So what's your goal? Like, what do you want to do in Nigeria? What kind of education in Nigeria do you want to do?
Yeah, I want everybody to be able to learn from the TV. Any kind of display screen for free.
Whoa.
Yeah. A system where like you can write exams just like Duolingo and it will be accepted as per YA. Do you understand?
Oh.
Yeah.
So
You saw her here first, too.
if anybody my God, that's not where flip-flops.
There's something very important that you both said, which is knowing the why, so that you can endure the process. It's also important to learn a skill while you're in medical school. And the common factor here is that they both have things that are not medical inclined. Like there's the tutoring aspect, there's the computer programming aspect. So there's always something else that complements the medicine. You can combine both of them together, but it's important because sometimes that kind of gives you joy. Dr. Clifford, you've not practiced, so I don't know. Okay, but you've seen people practice, which also kind of influenced your...
He's done internship.
Yeah.
But you not worked professionally. Internship is different.
You don't have the
You don't have the responsibility. You can decide not to show up alive. But you've seen people practice, and you said something earlier, which is that it's boring. So what do you think about a 9 to 5?
It's not just about medicine, it's the whole system of capitalism. It's depressing.
That's true.
It sucks out your joy. It's a weakness, it's a failure of myself. I don't want to get trapped. I don't want to sign a contract that says I have to come here every single day. What if I don't want to?
So many times you don't want to.
Yes, exactly. Okay, for example, for me, if I don't want to have a class tomorrow, I'm not going to have a class tomorrow.
Exactly.
I'll just have a class the next
You're
day.
your own boss.
No one is
Yeah.
But because I'm not forced to do anything, I'm doing it because I love it. Most times, even if I wake up and I'm tired and I have a headache, I'm doing it not because anyone's going to shout at me, but because I know that my student needs me and I really, really care about them. That also in itself is not a good thing. It's like I'm kind of a parent to my children, to my clients. To to my students, and I put them first, which is not something I would recommend. So if you want to something outside of medicine and you want to do a hobby, I would recommend not to be too engrossed in it and not to take it too seriously in a way that you lose yourself too much in it. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that's true.
I think a good job is something you're not so passionate about.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes, at least not when you're starting out.
Do you know why I beg to differ? Because let's take medicine for an example. You're dealing with lives, right? And sometimes you are frustrated, and if you don't have that passion for what you're doing, you can pass it on to your patients and they classify you as a bad doctor.
But if you have too much passion, then you get burnt out too quickly.
Yeah, I understand that, which is the downside of it. Medicine is a thing of empathy. You will not be able to empathize with your patient. You are thinking of the amount of work they have given you, the stress, because you're human as well. There's no motivation to even come to work. So what would actually push you to still do what you do and do it well?
Because it's your job.
I think it's the discipline.
Yes.
It sets the fine line. You can be disciplined to say, okay, I will wake up today, I will do my job. It doesn't mean like I have to be so passionate about it. It doesn't take out the emotion, but it channels it in the right way. That's the way I cope with it.
That's a good thought process. It also boils down to a personality thing. If the work environment is toxic, I can't function. Coming to work, I will have anxiety. I don't know what I'm going to deal with that particular day. I don't know who I'm going to see. Of course, if I see a patient, I'm going to treat the patient well, but I'm not functioning at my best level, and that would affect my output.
That is not about the work you're doing, it's about the work environment. Because even sometimes when I'm teaching and my job is kind of easy, sometimes I have difficult students that try to create a bad work environment, and then I have to deal with it. I have to talk to them personally. I'm in a position where I can change my environment, but you guys are in a position where it's hard to change the environment. So I don't think it's about the work you do. It's about
it's not about the work.
It can be intertwined.
It
doesn't have to be this or that.
You come in with anxiety because you have a bad boss.
Yeah.
You come with anxiety because you're overworked.
Yeah. So now you are a doctor with anxiety, and that is not your best work.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So that's how the work environment has affected your work.
Yeah, but if you change the work environment, then the work becomes better.
Changing the work environment can also mean changing to something like you're doing.
Yeah.
Because then again, you have that flexibility of being in control.
Yes.
To avoid that toxicity.
I never reject a student.
Yeah, but that's your decision. You have the ability to choose.
Yeah,
you chose not to.
Yes.
But we don't have that ability to choose.
Yeah.
That's even point one. Point two is draining. It's very draining.
Yes.
It's like you can't also focus on the things that you love. Fine, you going into practicing would help you, there's an end goal, but you would not be able to mix that with tutoring.
No, for sure.
It will be very exhausting.
But then I want to be like Sarah. Sarah doesn't work every single day, right?
Yeah, but now I'm gonna be working 3 or 4 days a week, so that's like every day. I actually wanted to tell you should think about doing GP. What you're talking about, it sounds a lot like if you just enter the hospital, you will die.
Notice that I just don't like capitalism as a whole, because having somebody take your time, your life is your time.
Yes.
Having him take the big portion of your time in exchange for money just so that you can live and then work more. It's like slavery, basically.
It is modern day slavery.
So I don't like that whole concept, and that's why I don't want to practice.
Yeah.
But, you're already practicing.
No, but that's why you have your business.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because that breaks you out of the whole capitalism cycle.
Yeah.
You have created value.
Yeah.
And that is giving you
and that's
money.
satisfaction as
Do you
well.
understand?
I really feel like you need to have the passion for it, because anything can happen in the workplace, in the hospital, that would actually throw you off. There's also racism in the hospital. Sorry, I was going to say misogyny in the hospital as well. A lot of it. So you're going to have to go through all of that, come back home.
Abuse, sexual abuse.
It's a lot.
Sexual abuse.
You need to have the passion for it.
Wait.
Also, figuring out where to go.
What do you mean have the passion for it to endure sexual abuse? Fuck
No,
that
I
shit.
mean
Sorry.
no, I don't mean that you should endure sexual abuse.
It's not the best thing to go into for money.
Yes, it's not. You can't do that for money.
But see, you can quit. You know that.
It's like
Fine.
quit. It's okay. The work environment had changed.
cheat.
We know that it's easier said than done, but the thing is, you have to actually start thinking forward.
You shouldn't just give a big part of your life away just because you want to retire. You should think about, are you enjoying this? Are you enjoying it right now? So
you see, we're saying the same thing now.
Yes. But I feel like some people will get what you're saying is that you need to endure the bad things right now. Endure the next 20 years just because you want to retire.
Please don't.
No, please don't do that.
Please don't.
Please.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you want to work, if you feel like your passion or your dream is to be that internal medicine doctor, to be that gynecologist, that's the goal. So you might have to go through some certain challenges, even in business. Of course, even in the things that you enjoy, you're still encountering some challenges. Again, like you said, if you don't like the hospital, maybe change the hospital.
Don't worry, there are good parts.
There are good parts, but like I can't see it, but there are good parts.
I can't see, but there are good parts. I can't tell you more.
The major part of it is focused on the fact that doctors are not appreciated enough. Pick your battles.
Medicine does not have to be the love of your life. You can find another passion outside of medicine.
That's why we said learning skill.
So in case you're not getting that validation and that fulfillment for medicine, something else can be good. It can be the time you spend after work with your family. It can be the gym. It can be perfume. It can be anything.
It doesn't have to be monetized. If you really want to enjoy this life and live a life of purpose
and also just live, because medical doctors commit suicide more than any other.
Yes.
So not just suicide, divorce.
No social life, no work-life balance. You're just existing, and once you drop dead, they replace you
with another fresh medical
with another fresh medical graduate. And with how doctors are understaffed, there's just too much protocol into how they even employ doctors. There's a lot. You have to write this exam and write that exam. I think it's completely irrelevant.
But it's intentional.
To make money.
To make the doctors frustrated, so when they get a job, they don't want to leave. They make it so hard to get into that place.
I didn't even think of that. You're smart too.
You're covering
your You can say I'm a baby girl. I don't like stress in life.
In our community, like Nigerians, we're very competitive. It also kind of helps to suck us into this thing. If I want to take 50 years to specialize, allow me. Honestly, if it's repeated that I feel unfulfilled, especially at work, sabbatical. Is it okay for your dreams to change at certain points?
100%.
It's fine. Don't be afraid to change course. Don't feel like, okay, because I'm in this thing, I will die here. Don't be afraid to take a break and go back and figure out what you want for your life.
I'd like to add something. My dad is the smartest person I know. At first, he taught in high school, and then he quit that and he was a contractor. And then he quit that and he was a chief, and he was doing some other stuff in the village. And then he quit that and became a pastor. And now he just retired. So, he knows a lot of things and he's not afraid to try new things. He even built the house that we live in with his own hands by himself. He didn't hire any engineer also. He read about it and he understood engineering and civil engineering himself. He didn't go to school for engineering. He studied government in university. So my dad is the kind of person that he can try, he can change, he can do anything, and he's completely happy. He's very fulfilled and he's very happy.
At every point in your life, you need to enjoy that phase.
I think I'm like you.
Enjoy that phase, and once you feel like okay, it's done, it's time to move.
It's a lie. It's a lie that you have to have one career for the rest of your life.
That's not true.
That's a lie. People do that to make you focus in one place so that you have less options and you cannot change jobs.
And then you get depressed when you don't feeling. That's capitalism.
I don't want to hear it.
Don't look at other people, because I know that a lot of it comes from pressure. In comparing yourself to other people around you, social media. It looks all glamorous in front of you, but they're not telling you the sleepless nights that they're having. That
and a lot of them are in debt.
Yes. I know Nigeria is tough. I don't know about any other country.
But
I know Nigeria is tough, but this place, I can guarantee you, it's
start from scratch.
It's tougher. As a doctor, again, you have to speak the language, and these people are not entirely friendly. The country is not entirely immigrant friendly either. Go to the UK, I think it's just easier. Or you write the USMLE and try the US route,
because you already speak English.
Maybe try like doing internships. You might have to pay.
Maybe like pay expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a route.
The best job is like your own thing, your own business.
Your own business. Any last words? Medical doctors that are graduating now, medical doctors are trying to figure out their journey.
Stay informed. No matter whatever you want to do, there's so much information for you. Any decision you want to make should be very informed.
And you can just think about what you really want from your life. What is more important to you? Is it money? Is it the career? Is it happiness? Think about it really, really carefully, and then choose based on that.
And you can change your mind.
You can change.
And we can give you how to quit and not be broke.
That's a good. If you're not subscribed. That video is coming.
How to quit
and not be broke. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because we're gonna have more and more of this kind of talks on this channel. Where can they find you, Dr. Chukwusera?
Don't find her. She doesn't
No
want to be
find.
Cannot be found.
This is okay. You have found me.
And you can find me on Instagram at the Debrison Tutor.
That's a very nice name, the
Okay,
Debrison Tutor.
So anytime they are searching,
yeah, Debrison Tutor. So if you're in Debrison and you need someone to tutor you, the Debrison Tutor is your plug. I'm going to leave the details on the screen and in the description box. Thank you guys once again, and we are going to see you in our next one.
bye.